offers courses that are more relevant and will help prepare them if they choose to go into a career right out of high school and maybe postpone their college education for a few years. You know, I taught at Chipola for many years, and a lot of my students were older students returning. They've been in the workforce, and they suddenly realized, you know, I really need a degree to go further. And so we've got to provide opportunities. The legislation that we passed actually offers incentives, and it offers help to our school districts to provide industry certification. The good news to that is you have the Holmes Washington Vocational School right down the road. That suddenly becomes very relevant for your students. So I'm excited about the opportunity that we can work together and make more training available for our students. And hopefully with that will come more jobs so they can come back and help. I know that many of you, kids are growing up. I've got a daughter that lives in Tampa, and I want her to come home so badly I can hardly stand it. So I understand that. But I tell you all of that because it is important that we continue communicating. I got a call from, I've gotten several calls from some of you over the last few days, few weeks. That helps me represent you better in Tallahassee. We begin committee meetings in September. The end of September, we'll go back to Tallahassee. We completed the session this past May, and we saw that it was a better year. It was a better year for our state. We had made the tough decisions in the past sessions of not raising taxes, but of cutting and reducing our budget until the economy rebounded. And we see, we had just a recent conference report that shows that the outlook should be even a little better in the upcoming year. Now, does that mean that we just need to go out and spend all of the money? No. What we have been firm in our belief and our commitment is that we will fund what is necessary, but that we will also put money away for a rainy day. Because we all know that we have some rainy days over the last several years. And had we not had those reserves, we would have been in trouble like many states. But because we had reserves, because we had made the necessary reductions in different areas, we have been able to weather the down economy much better than the states around us and the states that we see across the nation. We were able to give our state employees a pay raise. That was so important to me. I had told the governor and Speaker Weatherford, I said, look, I've got 2 years left, 2 years. I have to be able to go home knowing that state employees got a pay raise. They, like the private sector employees, had not had a pay raise in many years. It had been close to 7. And we know that the private sector had to tighten their belts. They let people go. They reduced salaries. And state employees were no different. They were feeling that crunch of the economy. But as the economy has begun to improve, we were able to give state employees a raise, and we appreciate all that our state employees do. Our law enforcement, we have a highway patrolman sitting here. I can't tell you how much I respect that uniform and respect what you do. So we thank you for your service. And we hope that in the year to come, it will be better, even better than what we saw. We added an additional $1 billion to education. Now, does that mean that we just grow programs and we do what? No. We put that money back into the classroom. The extra $1 billion went back into what we call the FEFP, which is simply the funding that goes with everything that serves that classroom. That is extremely important. Our teachers work hard. We've got to make sure that they have the tools that they need to educate our children. So we had a better year. We reduced more, or we eliminated rather, more regulation. I think the governor spoke the other day, and I think at total we've reduced or eliminated about 2,600 regulations. That is important because government should not be in the way of our businesses. Government should be there to help, and that is often a scary phrase. I was running late this morning because I had a young lady call me who was having a tough time. She needed help. And so I got on the phone and called one of the state agencies and was trying to act as a liaison between her and that state agency. Because the state agencies are there to serve, just like all of our state employees, just like I am. And that is important that we continue in that direction. One of the things that the legislature and the governor have been very committed to is making sure that we create a climate that jobs can grow in the state of Florida. I became a board member in January of Enterprise Florida. And Enterprise Florida is a semi-private, semi-public organization that sometimes takes a lot of heat, but it has been there to help all of our state, but it has recently upped its help to our rural communities. And that's something that I'm going to continue pushing. That in the rural communities, we don't want to lose our hometown, our small town environment, but we've got to do more to bring jobs for our citizens. And so working with Enterprise Florida, working in the legislature to make sure that we create a climate of not raising taxes. We reduced corporate taxes on small businesses, not the big businesses, but on small businesses. We actually lowered that once again this last session. It makes it easier for businesses to hire people. If they don't have to give us more money, then they have more money to hire people. So we hope that we will continue that climate and that commitment this next session. We start committee meetings, as I said, in September. We'll have a week in September, a week in October, and a week in November. And then in January, we hit it hard with 2 weeks, and in February, 3 weeks, and then start the session again in March. So I welcome your thoughts. I welcome your ideas, just like you helped us last year. Many of you gave that input to me about the vocational programs and the need to make sure that all of our students had opportunities, not just the students that knew that they were going to a four-year university or a state college. We've got to provide opportunities for everyone. You were an important part of that. So I welcome you to be a part of this next year as we approach committee meetings. If there are issues that you see that need to be addressed, am I going to stand up here and promise you that I'll get it done? No, I learned the hard way, you don't do that. But I can tell you that I will do what I did last year and take it back and work with my colleagues and say, how can we make this better? What can we do differently to make education more relevant, more accessible? What can we do to make healthcare more accessible, more efficient? What can we do better as a government to let our citizens have more of their money and run their businesses like they see fit? That's our goal. That's my commitment. And I don't talk very long, but what I do like to do is have a conversation with you. So I just want to open it up. I don't know how much time I have, but I want to open it up just for questions. That's what we did last year, and you were great. So I'm hoping you'll give me some more